Welcome, everyone. In today's video, we're going to explore a powerful feature in mapping, filter condition on mapping. This feature helps you control which data gets processed, making your integration work faster, more accurate, and far more consistent, especially when dealing with complex data structures. If you've worked with inbound interfaces before, you know how time-consuming it can be to process unnecessary records or handle conditions manually. This is where filter condition on mapping comes in. It acts as a smart gatekeeper, ensuring that only the right data flows into Salesforce while keeping your integration clean and efficient. Introduction. In this video, we introduce advanced capabilities designed to enhance your mapping process. A key feature is the ability to apply filter conditions on mappings. This functionality is essential for users who need precision and control in their data integration. With this video, you'll learn how to define conditions tailored to your requirements, ensuring a seamless and customized mapping experience. Discover the transformative power of filter conditions and fine-tune your mappings to achieve flexibility and efficiency in your workflows. This function offers double advantages. It allows us to set conditions not only on the main data, parent node, but also on the detailed data, child node. When conditions are applied at the parent node, it acts like a smart filter. If the parent data matches, Salesforce will insert or update the record. If no match is found, no API message is generated. On the child node side, the behavior is more flexible. If the child data matches, Salesforce will create both the parent and child records. If the child data does not match, Salesforce still creates the parent record, simply ignoring the unmatched child. We are showing you the object node filter condition in the node mapping. We have already set up an inbound interface, defined with the metadata repository and the source target message. Now, click on the Open Mapping button. Here, you'll see the source on the left side and the target on the right. For this example, we'll demonstrate how to define a filter condition in mapping using the account, contact, and case objects. First, let's quickly map the account, contact, and case node-to-node object and their related fields. Now the question arises, why do we need to define a filter condition in mapping? The main advantage of defining a filter condition is that it allows you to apply conditions that helps, ensuring only matching data gets processed. This works like a data filter. If a record matches the defined condition, Salesforce will insert or update smoothly without generating unnecessary API calls. For example, let's take the account object. Click on Define Filter, and you'll see the filter setup for the account. Now we create an expression where if name equals testing003, name testing002 equals testing003. If the record's name is testing003, it passes the test. If the record's name is testing002 or anything else, it fails. So, out of two records, one named testing003 and one named testing002, only the testing003 record will be processed. This ensures Salesforce only creates or updates the correct record, avoiding unnecessary changes. Once you save the filter, you'll notice a filter icon on the account object indicating that a filter condition has been applied. Next, since this is an inbound interface, we also need to define the external keys for the mapped objects. Your mapping is now successfully saved, and the interface will display along with its related child interfaces. Now the question is about configuring the define filter condition. Why do we configure it? We simply set up the expression using an if statement on the mapping side. Once configured, we can see the result of how it works. Currently, we are using a post API through Postman, but any API tool can be used. In this example, we create some JSON data in the proper format and send it via a post request. This request is then mapped to our define source or log where the expression is applied. After clicking the send button, we receive a 200 OK response. The server has responded as expected, confirming that the request was successfully posted to Salesforce org. The success message and status code indicate that our request has been completed. Now, let's review how these records appear on the message board. Click the message board button and select the appropriate interface option. Next, scroll down to the search button where the records are displayed in the message monitor. For example, it shows that an account creation inbound API was triggered, creating an account with JSON data. The record testing 003 was processed successfully because it matched the defined condition, along with the external ID SOC. The status is also shown in green, indicating success. This confirms that the record was successfully created through the Postman API. Finally, after sending the request, let's verify whether the account name has been inserted. We simply copy the generated ID, paste it into the search, and hit enter. Here, we can see the account details for testing 003. The account name testing 003 has been successfully updated. This is how we configure the filter condition in node mapping. Now, let's look at another use case where we apply a filter condition on the child node. In this scenario, the child node is contact. We select it and click on Define Filter. For the filter expression, we use a condition like if last name equals Chia, last name, Dara, equals Chia. This means that if a contact's last name is Dara, it will only be considered if it matches Chia. Test the formula and further save the filter condition. The filter condition saved successfully. Now click on Save button and save your data mappings. See, the filter icon appears on the child node, which is contact. Now, let's revisit the sample payload with two accounts. The first account has two contacts. The second account has one contact. When executed, both accounts will be created. However, the first account will not have any contacts. The second account will have one contact. This happens because the filter condition was applied. Next, let's switch to the Postman API network. Here, we define the payload according to the filter condition set on the child node. After preparing the payload, click on the Send button to post the request. The response shows that the request was successful and the server processed it based on the required condition. The records were updated, the status shows as successfully invoked, and new IDs were generated. Now, let's check how the results appear on the message board. Click on the message board button and select the appropriate interface. Next, scroll down and click on the search button. Here, in the message monitor, you can see the records that matched the filter condition. For example, the testing 005 account was created, the testing 004 account was created, and the contact Chia was successfully created. The status is shown as created, and the green status flag confirms that the filter condition worked as expected and the records were processed successfully. Finally, Let's confirm the results by checking the generated IDs from the Postman API. First, copy the generated ID and paste it into the Salesforce URL. Here, you can see the record testing 004, which indicates that the child node filter condition was met and the data was processed successfully. Second, again copy the generated ID and paste it into the Salesforce URL. You'll also notice that the Chia contact was created successfully, along with another account record, testing 005, which was also generated. This confirms that all the child node filter conditions were applied correctly, and the records were created successfully in Salesforce. Now, let's explore another scenario where we apply a filter condition on both the parent and child nodes. First, select the account object and click on Define Filter. Here, we'll enter a filter expression, for example, if name equals testing 007, name equals testing 007. Click on Test Formula to validate it, and then save the filter. Next, we'll add a filter condition on the child node, which is contact. Click on Define Filter and enter a condition such as if last name equals V1, last name equals V1. Test the formula to confirm it works, and then click Save. At this point, we have successfully defined conditions on both the parent object and the child object. Finally, click the Save button to save the mapping. Now, when you choose the filter icon, you can clearly see that the conditions have been applied successfully. Now, let's switch back to Postman and post the payload through the Postman API network. In this example, we have 3 records in the payload. The first account meets the parent filter condition and has 2 contacts. Out of those, only 1 contact matches the condition, while the other does not. The second account does not meet the filter condition, so it will not be created. The third account does not meet the account condition, but its contact does match the filter condition. As a result, when we execute this payload, only 1 account with a single contact will be created. Click on the Send button, and let's check the response. The request is successful. The server has responded, and both the parent and child node conditions were applied correctly. The system also generated the corresponding record IDs, confirming that the filters worked as expected. Now, let's go to the interface detail page and check the results on the message monitor. Click on the Message Board button, ensure the correct interface is selected, and then scroll down to click on the Search button. In the Message Monitor, you can see that the inbound API call was inserted successfully. It shows the account record testing 007 was created, along with the contact V1. The green status flag confirms that the records were processed and inserted successfully. Lastly, let's confirm the results using the IDs generated by Postman. Copy the generated ID and pass it into the same post URL. Here, it shows that the filter condition was met for testing 007 and the record was successfully inserted. Similarly, another ID confirms that the contact V1 with the last name condition applied on the child object was also created successfully. This demonstrates that both the parent and child filter conditions were applied correctly and the records were successfully inserted into Salesforce. In this session, we walked through 3 key use cases of applying filter conditions in the mapping tool. Parent node filter condition, where we applied the filter directly on the account object to control which parent records get created. Child node filter condition, where the filter was defined on the contact object, allowing only matching child records to be inserted while still creating the parent. Parent plus child node filter condition, where we combined both approaches, applying filters on the account and the contact objects together to achieve precise control over data processing. These scenarios demonstrate how flexible the filter feature is in handling complex integrations, ensuring only the right data is created or updated in Salesforce. Thanks for watching the video.